has progressed, and it continues. And there are many myths about where we are economically in relation to manufacturing jobs supposedly lost. It's not that bad, but people have been convinced that it is. And so we're battling with a lot of attitudes. I cited a poll yesterday where 76% of the American people think they're doing fine. They're doing better than they were, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But they don't think anybody else is. It's the same amazing thing. They're doing fine, but they're worried that nobody else is going to do well. That's an attitudinal problem, not a real problem. The attitude problem has been created by an oppressive, too powerful federal government, pummeling the citizens every day with the likes of this fear news and scare news that things are going to hell in a handbasket and the only solution is more government. So, pardon me for being optimistic. And please understand that I may be more aware of what's going on in communities than you think. Sure, this is a nationally focused program, but let's admit it, the guy cites the Children's Defense Fund as one of the intruders in his school system. That's a national bunch. We all know who the Children's Defense Fund is. It's Mrs. Clinton and Marion Wright Edelman. It is a national problem. Left to their own devices, communities will fix these problems, but they have to have the shackles of federal control removed. You remember, let's review something just as an illustration here. Go back to the original school lunch reform proposal. The Republicans intended, and still do intend, to spend far more money on school lunches next year than this, and the year after that. There was never any reduction in school lunch money. What was going to happen was that the money would no longer come from Washington, with Washington or federal controls. The money would be block granted to the states, and state legislatures and governors would decide how the money is spent. But it would be more money. Now, why should anybody panic at this? Here's the good side of it. The way education works now, that if a school wants its school lunch money, wants its federal school lunch money, in many cases the school has to meet certain curricular requirements to satisfy a bunch of federal bureaucrats. In other words, you've got to, I'm making something up here, but it is along the lines of the kind of requirements that go forth. You must teach evolution. You must teach evolution in the 2nd through the 6th grades, and if you don't, you're not going to get your school lunch money. And that's how the federal power is introduced, because the strings are attached to the money. You want the money to run your school? You want the money for school lunches? Here's what you have to teach. And a bunch of federal bureaucrats who do not have the best interests of your children in mind get their way. And since they can't get along without the money at the local school, they have to bend over and grab the ankles. Well, the conservative plan changes that, gets rid of these federal tentacles, sends the school districts the money without federal attachment, federal control. It's called the devolution of power, or the devolution of power. And that's this Republican plan, this conservative movement is really not about a balanced budget. It's not about Medicare and all that specifically. It is about eliminating federal power over the lives of individuals. It's about reducing the size and scope of government and turning some of this power back to a more localized and state-oriented source. And that's what this is all about. And if the Republicans have blown anything, it is this repeated focus on balanced budget in 7 years, balanced budget in 7 years. What they should have been saying all along, we're trying to get the federal government out of your life. We're trying to let your school system be turned back to you, the parents. And that's really what's going on. That's what's at stake. And I'm optimistic because the people I see waging this battle in Washington aren't caving. I'm also optimistic about that. So I'm sorry if the optimism bothers you. Generally, most people like to hear optimism. The president's going to try it tonight. After 3 years of doom and gloom, he's going to even try optimism in a speech called The Age of Possibility. I guess it's possible Paula Jones was in that hotel room with me. But I don't remember. Whoever came up with this may end up regretting it, this age of possibility, because people like me are going to come up with a whole bunch of possibilities. take a quick break here, folks, and when we return, we will resume with more calls from you. It's 800-282-2882. Don't go away.
You're listening to the EIB Network. 1996 is going to be a great year if you listen to Rush every day with your Real Talk Radio Timer Recorder. You don't want to miss a single minute of Rush, especially in the 1996 election year. So get ready for the best radio invention ever. Get a Real Talk Radio Timer Recorder and listen to the Rush Limbaugh Show anytime you want. It's just like a VCR for your radio. Simply set the timer, then go to work or play or to sleep. The Real Talk Radio Timer Recorder will automatically turn on and record all 3 hours of Rush's show on one single side of a regular audio cassette. Call 1-800-RADIO-26. That's 1-800-RADIO-26. And order the Real Talk Radio Timer Recorder for only $139.95. You can automatically record your favorite radio shows just like on a VCR and listen whenever you want. Call 1-800-RADIO-26 and never miss a minute of Rush again. Order now. You deserve it. That's 1-800-RADIO-26. The Real Talk Radio Timer Recorder. 1-800-RADIO-26.
Imagine, if you will, that you own a time machine, one that allows you to travel to whatever point in time you desire. Now let's say you're a farmer, a no-till corn grower who wants to see how well your herbicide will perform this summer. You start by dialing your time machine ahead to next July. Now, if your premix is Bicep 2, you'll see a panorama of clean rows and beautiful green corn. Why? Because Bicep 2 lasts 2 to 4 weeks longer than other corn premixes. And that allows you to apply Bicep 2 30 to 45 days before planting and still get season-long grass control. So if you're looking for a herbicide that stands the test of time, ask your dealer for Bicep 2, the one that's built stronger to last longer. Bicep 2 from Seba Crop Protection is a restricted-use pesticide. Always read and follow label directions.
It's hard to stop a train. E.T. Farrell & Son of Mount Olive, your quality train dealer, has the Train XL 1200 high-efficiency gas pack, designed, tested, and manufactured to last. The XL 1200 will run for years regardless of the climate or weather, and the compressor is covered by Train's 10-year manufacturer's limited warranty, plus 20 years on the heat exchanger and 2 years on all parts and labor. So for reliable, year-round comfort, call E.T. Farrell & Son, serving eastern North Carolina for over 50 years. 658-2971.
Knowles Carpet, your Carpet One store in Goldsboro, delivers the buying power of over 500 stores nationwide. With this comes tremendous savings for you on all your carpet needs. Choose from a variety of brands, styles, and fabric combinations. Knowles also features Karistan Oriental rugs. When you're ready to recarpet, let Knowles Carpet help you save through their association with Carpet One, America's largest carpet retailer. Knowles Carpet, 2311 Way Memorial Drive, Goldsboro. Quality flooring, expertly installed.
America's truth detector, the doctor of democracy, Rush Limbaugh, and it's the EIB Network. The phone number is 800-282-2882, Kay in Manhattan, Illinois. Hi.
Hi, Rush. I am so glad to hear you being so optimistic. That's why I listen to you every day.
Thank you very much.
I just get so frustrated with my friends. A lot of them have parents and grandparents that went to college and attained the American dream, generations ago. My dad was a sharecropper in South Carolina. He didn't live in a house that even had a real floor till he was in his teens. And he and my mother both were the first of their families to finish high school. And yet, all three of their children have gone on to college.
Yeah.
And I talk to my friends, and they're like, and they don't realize that people like me are still around. They just don't realize that the American dream is happening every single day for millions of people. And so they're all pessimistic and think it's over.
Well, I know there are a lot of people who do, and it's very frustrating because it's not over. Even if Clinton wins, it's not over. I mean, I will folks, I wrote a chapter in my book that ought to become a mantra for each and every one of us. My success is not determined by who wins elections. I love all these people who run around and try to plot my future based on who wins elections. Well, if the Republicans win the White House, that's it for Limbaugh. That's what they said in '92. If Clinton wins the White House, that's over for Limbaugh. You know, it's just my success is not determined by who wins elections, and neither should yours be. But there is this reality. What is it that makes this country great? What is it that makes any nation great? It's people and freedom and the ability those people have, unshackled, to just do the best they can to be themselves. I have faith in people. I am not one of these people cynically looking at the population and seeing a bunch of overall deadbeats. I do look at a certain portion of the population and I feel great pain and sorrow because they've been converted from otherwise decent people into a bunch of dependents, hoping and praying that Washington takes care of them from day to day. They have had their lives dispirited and practically destroyed, and it wrenches my gut and my heart because they're the people that are uneasy. If you think you're lacking optimism, the real unease exists in these people who know the entitlements are over, that the welfare state's about had it, and they don't know what they're going to do. And that's why they're out there protesting. That's why they're out there recruiting 9-year-old little girls and turning them into angry, bitter little protesters at welfare rights marches. Welfare rights marches, imagine that. So I am for whatever can be done to clear the path for the people. And at this point in our nation's history, what can best be done to clear the path for the people is to end the welfare state, is to end the reign of liberal dominance and power. That is commensurate with unshackling the American people. So yeah, there are problems out there, but it is people who make America great. It is people and individuals. I mean, you know what? There's a phrase that I have used on occasion, and I'll try to dredge it back up here because it perfectly illustrates what I'm trying to say to you now. The great thing about freedom, the great thing about America, and the thing that's made America great is ordinary people doing extraordinary things. This country is not great because of its celebrities. It's not great because of its famous people. It's not great because of its athletes. It's great because of the people you've never heard of. The ordinary people who have the freedom to do extraordinary things and become extraordinary people. And anything that stands in the way of the ordinary is going to hamper and hinder the progress of the nation. And I believe it's liberalism that stands in the way of the ordinary person. So sweep that aside at the ballot box, and you unshackle people and look out, get out of the way. You'll see progress like you've never seen it before. We'll be back.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Did you realize that 78% of all households in this country have someone who snores? Now, you're laughing probably, but to people afflicted with this problem, it's serious. You can lose sleep because of the noise, and those who snore feel badly about it when told about it. It's definitely a problem that requires attention. Now, here's what you can do about it. Try Breathe Right nasal strips, because snoring is a breathing problem. In clinical studies, 75% of those tested reduced or eliminated snoring by using Breathe Right nasal strips. Now, you think about it, it makes sense. When you breathe better through your nose, you'll breathe less from your mouth, and hence less snoring. Since Breathe Right strips are absolutely drug-free, they can be used every night without worrying about side effects caused by medications. If you have a snoring problem, try Breathe Right strips for a few nights. You or your spouse may not hear instant silence, but I'm telling you, I think you'll hear the difference real soon. Breathe Right nasal strips. You can find them at your local pharmacy, grocery, or discount store.
With the ever-increasing knowledge explosion, your child can gain needed help through the proven programs in Academics Plus. Now and year-round, Academics Plus offers assistance in reading, writing, math, including Algebra 1 and 2 and geometry. Help assure your child's future. For free consultation without obligation, call Dr. Skin or Marilyn Benton at Academics Plus for basic education needs, SAT prep, and other educational assistance. Call 735-PLUS. That's 735-7587. Academics Plus, educating for success since 1989.
At Courtesy, they don't have a 3-day sale to entice you. No matter what time of the year, Courtesy buyers look for the best possible product, then advertise it at the absolute lowest price. Every day of the week, Monday or Saturday, you'll find the best prices at Courtesy Buick, GMC, Truck, Honda, Mercedes. Nobody sells for less. And for program cars, Courtesy has just made a major purchase and is passing the values on to you, like the Hyundai Accents, equipped starting from an incredible $8,989. It's your choice. 95 Buick Skylark 4-door, 95 Oldsmobile Chiva, or 95 Chevy Corsica, $10,489. Your choice, 95 Buick Century or 95 Old Sierra, $10,989. And your choice, 95 Pontiac Transport Van, 95 Chevy Lumina APV Van, or 95 GMC Safari Van, $14,989. A sale every day of the week at Courtesy Buick, GMC, Truck, Honda, Mercedes. Nobody sells for less. Highway 70 bypass Goldsboro. Tax tag and die for your extra. See newspaper for complete details.
Your local Texaco Quick Mart stores are helping you get from here to there with the Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines. Texaco System 3 gasolines with improved octane performance and lowered emissions to help clean your car's gasoline system. Quick Mart will get you on your way with great specials like 20-ounce coffee, 6 to 9 cents, 32-ounce fountain drink, 6 to 9 cents, 6-ounce size of Frito-Lay chips, 99 cents. The people-pleasing place is your nearest Texaco Quick Mart with Texaco Clean System 3 gasoline.
Well, I had the big inaugural bash for the new mayor of San Francisco, Willie Brown, and my friends, they spent something like $1 million for the inaugural party, the inaugural ball, the inaugural bash. But listen to this comment from the organizer of the party, Stanley Gatty. Listen to this, quote, "If we had to pay for everything, we could never have afforded it." That ought to be the campaign slogan for the Democratic Party, the liberal wing of it, for the last 40 years. If we had to pay for everything, we could have never have afforded it. But it didn't stop them. They couldn't pay for everything for Willie Brown's inaugural party, but they did it anyway. They went out and got donations from local businesses. But if they had to have paid for it, they couldn't have afforded it. If that's not the story the last 40 years, I don't know what is.
In the heartland of a remarkable American state, dozens of abandoned gold mines still wind their way deep into the earth. It was here where America's first gold rush happened. In fact, the precious yellow nuggets were once so abundant in these parts. Surplus gold ore was literally used to pave the streets. Where can you find these ghostly remains of a bygone era? They aren't in California, but in a state just as worthy of exploration on your next vacation. A state called North Carolina. Surprised? There are little-known places like this waiting to be discovered all over the state you call home. And to help you find them, we've put together a free travel guide. So call 1-800-VISIT-NC for your copy today. You may not return with gold nuggets or other precious stones, but you will take home a different kind of treasure. The kind you can save forever in your mind. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters.
First in Wayne County, hear what everybody's talking about. 1150 WGBR Goldsboro.
NBC Radio News. President Clinton is dotting the I's and crossing the T's on his State of the Union address. Correspondent Joe Walsh reports on the message Clinton is preparing for delivery tonight.
President Clinton has cleared his desk to concentrate on his State of the Union address. White House spokesman Mike McCurry says the president will be working on the speech most of the day. McCurry says right now he expects the speech to last about an hour. Asked if that included time for applause, McCurry said the Republicans have a sit-on-your-hands strategy. McCurry says Clinton expects conduct befitting the dignity of the occasion, not raucous behavior. In the address, Clinton is expected to make it clear he wants to balance the budget. Joe Walsh, the White House.
It's another day of grilling for O.J. Simpson. He faces questions about where he was the night of the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman when he returns to L.A. law offices for day 2 of his deposition in the civil trial. I'm Barbara Porter.
These are the sounds of the 50 million people with high blood pressure who may have a cough and cold but can't take most cold medicines. If you're one of them, Coricidin hears you. Now there's new Coricidin cough and cold tablets, the only major cough and cold tablet with a decongestant-free formula. The ingredients pharmacists recommend for people like you. So take new Coricidin cough and cold tablets at the very first sign. And for the rest of your family, there's Coricidin D with a decongestant. Use only as directed.
If you own a computer, you're just a modem away from professionally printed documents. With new PipLink software, a $69 value free from Pip Printing. Send your printing jobs directly from your computer to Pip, anytime from anywhere. Home, office, hotel, even airplane. Call 1-800-95-PIP-95 for your free PipLink software. That's 1-800-95-PIP-95. Offer good for a limited time only at participating locations. Shipping and handling $3.95. Pip Printing. You'll be surprised at what we can do.
The Institute of Medicine is urging medical schools to cut down on enrollments. The Institute says there are too many doctors and urges changes in how foreign doctors are licensed. From mopping up to federal aid, the focus after weekend flooding in the mid-Atlantic states has shifted. Federal Emergency Management Agency teams are trying to process claims from Pennsylvania, which has received disaster declarations for the majority of its counties. Meantime, requests for federal aid are still in the pipeline from Ohio, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, and West Virginia. NATO checkpoints on alert for a U.S. citizen allegedly tied to a Muslim extremist group that may be planning to attack U.S. troops in Bosnia. Reporter Nancy Marshall has more from Tuzla.
According to an Agence French press report, the man has been identified on wanted posters as Kevin Holt, but the commander of U.S. troops in Bosnia, General William Nash, claims that most foreign soldiers, as the Mujahideen are known here, have left Bosnia.
For the most part, I'm pleased with the issues of foreign forces. All parties have reported the absence of foreign forces.
Some Mujahideen soldiers, however, are reported to have married local women and settled in Bosnia. Nancy Marshall, Tuzla.
An all-out search is on for a 10-year-old pregnant girl missing from a shelter in Houston. Fred King of the Houston City Police says authorities are worried the girl, who could deliver any time now, will have serious medical complications.
4'8", 120 pounds. Of that 120 pounds, there's probably 15, maybe 20 of baby.
It's believed the 10-year-old left the shelter to meet up with the father-to-be, a 22-year-old man. The butler for comedian George Burns says the 100-year-old is weak but eating. He disputes reports that Burns is near death and that doctors are contemplating feeding him intravenously. On Wall Street, the Dow at this hour is down 24, currently trading at 51.95. With NBC Radio News, I'm Barbara Porter.
I feel like a snack.
Yeah, me too.
Sometimes you feel...
With luscious coconut.
Yeah, coconut.
Sometimes you feel like a...
Creamy milk chocolate.
Make mine rich, dark chocolate.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
And crunchy almonds.
I don't feel like nuts.
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
I feel like an Almond Joy.
I feel like a mound.
Almond Joy's not nuts. Mounds don't because sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
I'm glad you convinced me.
It wasn't me, it was the music.
These are the sounds of the 50 million people with high blood pressure who may have a cough and cold but can't take most cold medicines. If you're one of them, Coricidin hears you. Now there's new Coricidin cough and cold tablets, the only major cough and cold tablet with a decongestant-free formula. The ingredients pharmacists recommend for people like you. So take new Coricidin cough and cold tablets at the very first sign. And for the rest of your family, there's Coricidin D with a decongestant. Use only as directed.
Price sells cars. It's an indisputable fact. And Leaf Chrysler Plymouth Jeep Eagle Dodge Isuzu has the numbers to prove it. Over 150 program and pre-owned cars, trucks, and vans. Plus, 96 models are arriving daily. Check out these great buys at Leaf. Brand new 96 Dodge Stratus, only $219 a month. Brand new 96 Chrysler LHS, just $385 a month. Wayne County's best selection of new, program, and pre-owned vehicles can be found at Leith of Goldsboro, Highway 70 West.
Well, a storm system off to our west this afternoon should drag a cold front through the area tomorrow, and we may see a little wet weather as a result. This afternoon, though, we'll call it partly cloudy and mild. The high today around 53 to 58 degrees. Tonight will turn mostly cloudy and breezy. We will have a small chance of a sprinkle or shower toward tomorrow morning. Lows in the mid to upper 40s. And then for Wednesday, some scattered showers and thunderstorms that should end during the afternoon hours with partial clearing after that. We'll have highs tomorrow ranging from around 60 up toward the northwest to near 70 in southeastern sections. I'm Mike Moss at the Weather Center.
Expressed by the host on this show reflect the views held by millions of Americans. The views expressed by the host of this show are the result of a daily, relentless pursuit of the truth. We hit pay dirt often on this program, which means that you must have the courage to face and believe the truth as you hear it on this program. Otherwise, you'll go nutty. You'll go batty. You'll go crazy.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America, the way it ought to be. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
Once again, the telephone number is 1-800-282-2882. Love to hear from you folks as we chug on toward the Super Bowl. To repeat, I made my Super Bowl pick yesterday. Not going to wait around till Friday. Not going to mess with the environmental wacko method. The environmental wacko method would almost require that you pick the Cowboys. So I'm not going to use the environmentalist wacko method. I'm just going to use my gut. Steelers by 6, maybe 7, and they will hold Emmitt Smith to under 100 yards rushing. Mark my words. Super Bowl prediction made it yesterday. I'm not going to waver, barring half the team getting the stomach flu on Saturday or something like that. Now we're talking about optimism. We're talking about the future. What is this, Kiki? What is this? Kiki de la Garza is shooting me sign language. Is that your son oh, that's right. She showed me a note during the break. During some science class, her son is doodling, drawing a football goalpost, a football being kicked through it, predicting the score, Steelers 37, Cowboys 27. How old is your son? 6? 7. 7 years old, predicting the Steelers by 10. I'll go 6 to 7. I think people are going to be stunned. Everybody thinks the AFC is just a lackey every year, and I have a different feeling about this game. For some reason, just a hunch. Who can explain why? Not going to try to explain the hunch, just the hunch. I think the Steelers are going to open the game up from the get-go, and I think that their run defense is going to show up. And they're going to bottle up Aikman. They're going to bottle up Smith, and they're going to be able to get to Aikman. And if they double cover Michael Irvin, as successful people who've beaten the Cowboys this year have doubled Michael Irvin and take him out of the game as much as you can, take him out of the game, they got a chance. Now, we're talking about optimism, and I have here a column, ladies and gentlemen, by our friend and liberal columnist from Washington, D.C., Jim Glassman, who I have said countless times in this program deserves the Pulitzer for the work that he is doing on the op-ed pages of the Washington Post. And the title of his column today is When the Xers Come Marching In. And what this column is about is the shift to the right that's going on among Generation X individuals. Something that I have told you about on this program, something that I have sensed on this program, something that I have regaled you with repeatedly, that the younger generation is not the usual bunch of sandal-clad, wire-rimmed, long-haired, maggot-infested, dope-smoking FM types running around destroying their minds on substance, or substances. Whether they are actually concerned about their future. And you know they're concerned about it when you hear them say they don't think they have a very good one. They don't think they have much chance to do better than their parents. See, I happen to think that if they think that, they're wrong, but if they do think it, I think it can end up being motivational. Well, Glassman cites in his column a survey by the polling company. It found that Generation X people between the ages of 18 and 29 years old believe more than any other age group that the Republican tax cuts will be helpful to the economy, even though these cuts don't benefit them, the Generation Xers, all that much. One implication of cutting taxes is that Americans can put their money to better use than the government can. These people, these young people, think that they can do better with their own than by turning it over to the government. A Roper study cited in December at an American Enterprise Institute conference by resident fellow Carolyn Bowman found this: twice as many young people, listen to this carefully, because this is the key and secret to the future. Twice as many young people would rather own their own business than be the top executive of a large company. 4 times as many said that they would rather own their own business than hold an important position in politics or government. These results, Bowman concluded, describe what might be called a new ethic of self-reliance. It is self-reliance and rugged individualism that built the country. These people think that it's so messed up that they've got to take it over, take it in their own 2 hands and fix it. And they'll do that by taking their own lives in their own 2 hands and fixing their own lives. And this is what I was talking about last week. You feel you have control over your life, you're going to be more confident, and you're going to have more self-esteem. If you have lost that control, you have lost an accompanying sense of responsibility, and you're sitting around waiting for somebody else to make things better for you, not maybe just in terms of a handout, but you're still sitting around waiting. You're not making things happen, you're waiting for things to happen. If you're in control of your life, you're doing it to whatever degree possible anyway. Not everybody can get as much control as they'd like, but if you're trying to get as much control as you can, you're making things happen for yourself rather than waiting for things to happen to you. And these surveys indicate that the young people of this country are sick and tired and don't want to wait for things maybe to happen for them. They're not going to take the chance. They're going to do what they think they have to do to make things happen for themselves. Now, Glassman writes that this self-reliance may not be as purely freedom-loving as some of us would like to believe. It may have its immediate source in the lack of confidence young people feel in the ability of government and large corporations to provide them with security, so they have to do it themselves. So what? Whatever the motivation is fine, because they're right. If they've got a lack of confidence in the government to do right, that's a very healthy skepticism to have. Especially if they have their wits about them. Anybody can outrun the federal government in a race between the individual and the government, unless, it's the FBI or the IRS coming after you. There's no doubt that in the opportunity-security dichotomy, young people see opportunity as now paramount, writes our good friend and liberal columnist, James Glassman. And this is not the message of this administration. This is what's key. What these young people tend to think and believe is not the message of this administration. This administration's message is that you are feeble, and that you're under assault, and that you're helpless, and only with Big Brother and Big Mother Clinton can you protect yourself from these mean people out there who are going to just ruin your life. So as I say, you may have to look rather hard for it, you may not, depends, but there are definite reasons to be optimistic. Here's Pat in Chicago as we go back to the phones. Welcome to the program. Glad you waited, too.
Oh, hi, Rush.
Hi.
Oh, I would have waited till the end. I'm so happy to be able to speak to you. I've never called before. I, too, saw the A&E biography show last night.
What is it? Mr. Smerdley, I said yesterday that I was not going to talk to anybody.
I know, but I just had to tell you.
Smerdley watched it. I guess you think that it was good, too. Everybody I've talked to thinks that it was very good.
I was so moved by it, I stayed up for the late repeat, and I taped it for a morale booster. I was impressed with your perseverance through your whole life. And I know you're only in your 40s, but your early life was such a struggle. So
What did this show do that made you think that?
It showed your progress through from the time you were a teenager with the radio show, and that you gave up all of your high school clubs or pleasures or whatever and prom to pursue this radio career that it just really bubbled up in you. And then as you moved on from station to station, and I was just so impressed with the fact that you just kept plugging away. And
well, then they must have mentioned I got fired at every one of them.
They did, and that's what it must have been so depressing, because I've been depressed myself lately, and that's why I taped it. It's a real morale booster. I just thank them for putting that on, and I'm glad that you actually.
Well, now let me.
Did.
Not that it matters. I'm just curious. As you watch this, did you get the impression that the producer of the program intended it to be the way you're describing it, moving or inspirational, or did it just happen despite what they wanted to do?
I think it happened. I'm not sure how they put these biography shows together, if they're supposed to be slanted in a certain way or not. I mean, for instance, tonight they have
Manson, I know.
Manson, and I won't even watch that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a waste of time.
They're probably thinking, and now it's time for a decent guy after we've profiled Limbaugh.
But I'm so glad it was on, because in the years that I've been listening to you, I just thought you were this very knowledgeable, energetic, wealthy man who had time to do this. And as it turns out, you really didn't make that wealth until the last several years, or maybe 10 years. And,
no, not even. I don't.
Not even, right?
No.
And as I said, I was so impressed with your perseverance. And by the way, Marta is beautiful. They had a picture of you with her at dinner or something, and she's quite beautiful lady.
Thank you. Yes, she is. Well,
Yes.
now, if they see, I didn't participate in this, and I didn't give them any pictures. So the pictures they had of me have to be 70 or more pounds ago. I must look like a real porker in this.
Well, I'll tell you, I was a little concerned about that. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to hurt your feelings. Please go on your weight control program, because we need you around for a long time.
This is one of the downsides to it, I guess. But if the pictures that are in this thing are the ones I think that they are, and I'm pretty sure that they're the same ones, then you wouldn't recognize me if you saw me now.
Well, I'd like to. As I talked to Mr. Snerdley, I'm trying to find out where to get you in the Chicago area. We can't find you anymore.
WBBM at 6:30 in the morning, 6 or 6:30 in the morning, Channel 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
You must have missed the massive ad campaign that we've been running in Chicago to alert residents there as to what time the TV show is on.
Probably, but I know it was on at night, and I always didn't always stay awake to see it, but I would try to tape it.
The Rush Limbaugh show, TV show, is the best kept secret in America. The people tell me about it. The people who watch it have to bust their rear ends to find it, and they do.
I know. I've been scanning the
We're
TV
gratified.
guide.
Well, look, you're very kind to call. It's very nice of you to say these things.
I'm so happy to be able to talk to you. Just keep up all this good work.
So you just thought I was this wealthy guy who had the time to come in and do this?
I'm sorry.
How many people think that?
Well,
how long have you been listening to this show?
Oh, I think I first turned you on in 1989.
1989? Well, how can you possibly? Because I've been
But at that time, I was so mad at you for different things, I turned you off. And then I happened to turn you on again, and I started really listening. And you do provoke thoughts in people, and that's a good thing.
Thank you very much for the call.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it, Pat. I'm just a wealthy guy who has the time to do this. A man of leisure. Oh, gee. Oh, I got to thinking the other day of the first 3 years with what's so funny. My yacht's double parked. What do you think you are, Pat Buchanan? My yacht's double parked. I told you I wouldn't know where a yacht basin is if you pointed me in the right direction. Never been to a yacht base. Anyway, I was sitting around thinking, Marta and I were sitting around those first 3 years of that Rush to Excellence tour, 47, 49 weekends a year, doing that. And I'm a man of leisure. just happens to have the 3 hours free, come in here every day and spout off. Oh, well. Take a break. Be back in a second. More calls right after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
You know, folks, every coach has a great playbook. A playbook defines and outlines strategies for winning. You need a playbook in politics to refer to when the fighting gets nasty and when truth is obscured by emotion. Well, you can get such a document. You can get such a playbook with the Limbaugh letter. Order my newsletter now and get the 96 playbook free. It's a special report outlining the scare tactics that liberals will be using throughout the 96 election year. It also gives you brilliant counterattacks to shut down their game and to help achieve victory, because that's what it's all about. You'll also get a complimentary copy of that great parody audio cassette with dozens of hilarious Clinton songs and skits from my award-winning Thrill Pack radio program. Here's the phone number, 800-457-4141. You get 12 issues. That's 1 year of the Limbaugh letter, the 96 playbook free, the parody cassette, all for just $29.95 plus $3.95 shipping and handling. Here's that number again, 800-457-4141.
Discovery Channel invites you to lose yourself in the finds of the century. Search a forbidding desert for dinosaur eggs that will shock the world. Be the first in 3,000 years to enter the awesome tomb of a lost pharaoh. Watch the world premiere miniseries, Searching for Lost Worlds. Tonight, the missing link between man and ape. Don't miss Searching for Lost Worlds, continuing tonight through Wednesday at 10, only on Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
For fantastic after-Christmas savings, see the largest selection of fine jewelry in the area at Barnes Jewelers. Bring that Christmas cash and save up to 50% on all diamond solitaires, ladies' stone rings, chains, bracelets, and save up to 50% on 14-karat gold and sterling silver earrings. Plus, Barnes has a large selection of bracelets, chains, brooches, charms, tie clips, and earrings. Men's and ladies' watches, all 20 to 50% off. Don't miss the year-end after-Christmas savings at Barnes Jewelers, 502B Eastgate Drive, Goldsboro.
For more than 40 years, Waco hams have set the standards for excellence in quality and taste. Choose from spiral sliced honey glazed ham, smoked turkey, or country cured hams, fully cooked or uncooked. You can be sure it's the finest when it's from Waco. For your own enjoyment or for gifts that can be shipped anywhere for all occasions, call Waco Ham Company at 735-3962 or make your selection at the plant at 506 North William Street in Goldsboro. Waco Hams, award winner since 1950.
From the WGBR Community Affairs Desk, as part of continuing efforts to provide educational and preventative services to children in Wayne County Public Schools, a second Sealant awareness promotion is planned for second graders at Carver Elementary School in Mount Olive, Carver Heights and School Street School in Goldsboro, and Fremont Elementary School in Fremont. This dental sealant promotion will provide sealants for all second grade students who would like to participate. Hear what everybody's talking about on 1150 WGBR.
I never have time to eat breakfast at home.
Sending your children into the classroom without breakfast is like sending them to school without books.
I get a tummy ache until I eat lunch.
Children who eat a balanced breakfast concentrate better in the classroom.
I'm always tired in the morning.
Kids who eat a nutritious breakfast of milk, fruit, bread, and meat do better in school. I'm Dr. Mom, pediatrician and mother of 5. If your kids don't eat at home, look into breakfast at school.
A message from the Southeast Dairy Association.
The Doctor of Democracy, Rush Limbaugh, an excellent role model for the youths of America, serving humanity here at the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. And the phone number is 800-282-2882. This is John in Ware, New Hampshire. I'm glad you called, sir.
Hi, Rush. It's a pleasure to talk to you and an honor. I just wanted to give you, first of all, mega FM dittos from the youth of New Hampshire.
Thank you very much, sir.
Also, I wanted to, let you know that I'm a 30-year-old salesperson that's been carving my way out in an industry that's very competitive, being the telecommunications industry. But I wanted to let you know that a lot of these people that are struggling in America take you on the road with them, and we use you for our inspiration and as an example of the opportunity that is available in America today, which a lot of people don't see. And I wanted to call and let you know that, and also let you know I'm a little bit nervous.
Well, I can understand both.
It's not every day you get to talk to a person that means so much to your drive in what you do. It's not easy to be out there and convince people and keep your energy up when you're trying to convince people about a product, or when you're turned down, or when you're trying to get your head back up above the water. And I got to let you know that you've been there, and you've been that inspiration.
Well, thank you very much. It means everything to me to hear you say that. That's very kind.
Yeah. I also wanted to let you know I did see the A&E show, and I'm not trying to make this an A&E thing, but it was very touching. I don't think there was any slant on the show, but it did show and gave an example of what I think a lot of middle America is going through in their struggles to become successful, to raise a family. I've got to let you know that I do agree with the your view on welfare. To me, I've come through the welfare system myself, being a foster child, and I've seen that low part of America.
Mm-hmm.
And it also, when things like that happen to you, you have to try and turn them into a positive thing. To where, I have a son that's 4 years old. I think it will make me a better father and a better example as to why you try. And the next generation will have that example to follow, and so that...
That is so right on. That is exactly what the purpose of parents and adults is to show the right way based on the things that you've learned. That is so... That is more important than anything any elected official will ever do for your child.
Right.
Is what you're able to do for them yourself based on experiences that you've had.
Right.
One thing about welfare, when you bring up that term is a lightning rod, and sometimes people have knee-jerk reactions to it. And I prefer, when discussing welfare, to refer to the whole concept, the welfare state. Because I think that's the terminology that needs to be used, because we all have to admit that there are those who are not able to fend for themselves and help for themselves, and nobody wants to leave anybody out in the cold, and nobody wants to not help those who genuinely need it. The problem with the welfare state is that it creates dependency. The problem with multiculturalism is that it teaches certain young Americans, for example, that they have no chance. What greater disservice can you do to the unbridled optimism